to set up the best possible development for the golden age. So whatever Agenda 2030, Agenda 2025, Agenda 2027, Agenda 2050, they can agenda, wipe, swipe, and flush. None of them matter if they don't go through the matriarchal agenda. And the matriarchal agenda is to give our children the best chance for a future free from war, bloodshed, and child sacrifice of all forms.
Yeah, let's get it. And we could drop the mic and walk off stage at that one. Hey, y'all, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to show the brother Roy Hayes some love on the Cash App, we got his Cash App right there on the screen, y'all. Everybody send him some money. We got like 1,000 and some people in here. Everybody send him $1 and put him in the game, man. Right now.
I'll be on House of Reawakened Minds with Dr. G tomorrow, catching up. I don't know what she's gonna ask me, but
yeah, I like her show.
Yeah, I stay ready, so I don't gotta get ready. Yeah. So yeah, that's I'll be on her show tomorrow.
Tune in to Dr. G. Tune in to Dr. G tomorrow. Roy gonna be on Dr. G tomorrow. I like Dr. G because I'll be sitting there when I be driving and listen to all those Taj Tariq Bey tapes on there.
Man, Taj be trying to tell y'all how to read the code. He be giving y'all so many jewels and they be missing it, but it don't matter now because the exit strategy he gave us for when the contract was active is no longer valid. It's expired. It ain't that it's wrong. It's just that it's expired now. The end. No mas. It's over. Dia de muerte. The day of the dead. That's a done deal for all of what he's been teaching for all these years. He taught it till its conclusion. In other words, he filled the cup up. Now I come to kick the cup off the table so we can get on about our business.
Yeah. See, like it's key things that I'm gonna talk about that Taj Tariq Bey talk about, like some of the secret society stuff. I'm gonna go into that. How they set up these different orders to usurpers. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. But yeah, all of it plays a part. But we at this point now, we don't want no more deals. We don't just run our goal and kick rocks. Run that goal and kick rocks, partner.
That's all I'm saying. So we can free the leprechaun.
Yeah.
We can free the leprechauns and bring me my pot of gold.
We don't want no more deal with the devil, my nigga. That's it. That's a wrap. We went hoodwinched and bamboozled. God damn it. All right, we out, y'all. Hey, y'all. Shalom Aleichem. Assalamu alaikum. You know what I'm saying? Peace be unto you. Hotep. Divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu. Hit that mic, y'all.
When the enemy is working on them and you can see it, you can understand by what method of oppression they use to subjugate and hold a person down. So in Men of God, you said we had to have a dog in every fight. And you have to know who is the person, what are they the biggest threat of? Like what part of their presence is threatening to who, and how much power can this person wield or influence to bust you upside your head and hold you down, right? So a couple things that y'all ought to be on the lookout for. The Fruit of Islam are going to be taking control of Secret Service and Central Intelligence. You're going to know when dignitaries come and you see the signature bow tie and suits of the FOI, that's going to be a clue as to how close we are to closing everything out. You got to look at, also watch the news reporters. I said this like 2 years ago, and a lot of people didn't catch it and didn't pay attention. But the news reporters on your most popular news shows is going to be replaced with new faces. The reason for that is this is how you're going to know that Central Intelligence operatives are being replaced with people that's going to push our agenda and the return and the rise of the matriarch. So they will be like sleeper cells. They'll be activated to disclose certain information that before was not being disclosed by the old Central Intelligence, MI5, KGB, MI6, Mossad, secret intelligence agencies of the world that were controlling the media outlets. The importance of controlling the media outlets is you can influence public opinion in order to promote somebody or defame somebody. So by the same measure that they can promote you, they can use equal amount of vigor and force to make you look like the villain, right? So we knew from the Maltese Falcon and a couple more of the movies out of the 50s, they was telling us when Central Intelligence was taking over the media, and they really got the stronghold after 1945 and the end of World War II, right? So the report just came from Roe down in Australia. She said they already switching out their reporters. So make sure y'all paying attention to that, because when the new reporters come online, them the ones that's going to be giving us what's called disclosure. The old reporters that was working under the old regime, they are part of the people that's being arrested by JAG and taken to the tribunals. It's a lot of people been reported to be taken off golf courses and other places by military personnel. For what? They're not telling us what photo. They telling us that JAG arrested such and such. Well, why they arrest them? Why y'all ain't telling us why they arresting them? Right? So the military code is different from the civilian judiciary. It's a different system. Right? So they operate differently. All of these people that's been doing the dirt have to be told to the public. Y'all have to know everybody that was doing the dirt, and y'all got to know where was they at, who was they answering to, what their agenda was, because they told us what their agenda was in most cases. What was they trying to do? Most of them was in it for the money. Some of it was in it for the freakiness of it all. Some of it was in it for the false promises of longevity in life by the offers of adrenochrome. Whatever the case may be, they all had a different agenda. Some of them, a lot of them had the same agenda as others, but they all had an agenda. And their agenda exposes their alliances, and then you find out who they allied with, and then you track down their allies and you find out who they answering to. And then you will begin to understand the whole criminal network and how it functioned. They used the spider web as the layout, right? So just how you got the spider web connected certain key points, they made key points of connection that allowed them to put a grid of ignorance over us. They controlled the history books that was being written. They controlled the media that was telling us and reporting what we call news. That's why ain't nothing good on the news. They hardly ever have what's called a good news story. It's almost all bad news, right? This is to keep the people feeling like a perpetual victim, or like there's a perpetual threat around every corner that keeps you in a keep you in a state of fear, right? You should be hearing chatter about political prisoners. And I was getting some information off the Wind Talker channel. There was a lot of chatter going on about political prisoners and making the public aware of the operations that generated the political prisoners? Why are they, who is their political ideas controversial to? Who are they faced off with to determine who can lock them up as a prisoner? That means whoever they are antagonizing controls enough of the government where they can fabricate these stories and put them in prison for a political approach to what's going on in the government and on the land. So whoever they piss off got enough governmental controls to use the judiciary, to use the penal system, to use the police forces in order to remove the people off the land, as they said in COINTELPRO. Now, a lot of us thought that the COINTELPRO program was just some stuff that them pro-black niggas with the dashikis and them Muslim niggas read, right? We don't want to hear that. But when you studying the protocols of Zion, when you studying the morals and dogmas, and you seeing this pattern, and then you pull out this document, the mission statement for the counterintelligence program, and then you start saying, oh shit, there's something here. This ain't smoke. This is the goddamn embers of the fire. This is the source data. Once you understand that, then you understand that somebody got to give us a countermeasure to counter the things that they are controlling in order for us to break free and get liberated from the areas of our life that they're using to subjugate us. So you can't be oppressed without somebody holding you down. And any motherfucker that have to hold you down, he got to stay down there with you. He can't get up. Because if he get up, you get up. So whoever holding you down got to be down there with you in order to keep you down. So they look like us, but they not us. That's that CONJURE war. Remember in the George Washington Challenge, it said in 200 years that the descendants of the Moors and the ones who wear the sandals, they won't know what side of the water they came from. The only way this is possible is we had to be in some form of amnesia. Dr. Malachi called it the ghost spell, what they call the gospel. It's a play on words. It's a homonym. It's also an etymologically linked term, right? So they got us in the ghost spell using the blood and the rights by the assassination of Crispus Attucks. They wrote a secondary constitution, which caused them to have to move the capital from Philadelphia to D.C. But we not seeing none of that because of the secret squirrel shit going on. All of the secret squirrel stuff that was going on behind the scenes is the design so that us, the organic Mississippi walking clay dirt niggas that went into this CONJURE war, we ain't never supposed to figure out who we is and that we came from over here and that we was here already. We was here for slave ships. We was here before the concept of a slave ship. We was here before Columbus, right? And that there was no city over here named anything that's in that Bible until they brought the Bible. That's when they begin to name cities over here with the same name as the names in the Bible. Because how else can you overwrite the land? They didn't underwrite it, they overwrote it. That means they wrote on top of it where they want us to believe that they came from in the book from off the land, when neither the book nor the motherfuckers that brought the book come from the land, right? Well, where they come from? They got kicked out of Europe. How they get kicked out of Europe? Who kicked them out? Why they ain't want them over there? I thought they civilized them motherfuckers, right? So how can the motherfucker you civilize want you gone if once they get civilized? I mean, that you had to teach them something that you was doing was so gross and negligent to their perception that they had to get rid of you. The statuary in Europe say they was eating babies. That's what the statuary say. right? So if the statuaries say that they was eating babies, and then in the history books it said they was making the elixir from the blood of the fetuses in the Babylonian blood magic, then we know what they was doing. Adrenochroming, right? So you got people coming up missing, babies coming up missing, people's protesting, mothers is protesting. So if enough mothers protest, the fathers got to stand up and say, hold up, what's going on over there where these women is calling for the men to get rid of you motherfuckers? You have to go. So they kicked them out. Well, where did they go? Well, their first stop was in modern day Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria in Northwest Africa. Now, in the dogma, they tell us that this is Northwest Africa. That's the dogma. But the moral codes say, no, this ain't Northwest Africa. This shit was here before Africa was ever named Africa. So how in the fuck can this be Northwest Africa? They say that this was Al-Maghrib, where there's nowhere on the map where this is Al-Maghrib, but Northwest Africa on the map is Al-Maghrib. If you watch, you can see the game they playing. It's a shuffle. How you gonna overwrite the land and think that the people from the land not gonna never know that none of that Bible shit that had nothing to do with us before 1492, and that it was a contract and a ritualistic spell put on the people by the clergy? Because that's why they send them. That's why they always sent the priests first. They always sent the missionaries in to anywhere they wanted to conquer to seduce the people into following the edicts of the Bible. But they don't even know where the Bible come from. Who wrote that shit? It's all compiled in Nicaea, but what was the purpose? They tell you, if you study the Council of Nicaea, what Constantine said his purpose was when he assembled the council. Because he couldn't conquer the organic spiritualists of the land, he wanted to capture that shit and put it in the bottle. How do you do that? Right? So it's all conjure work. It's all sorcery, but it's being played on a group of people that's unaware of the implications of the spiritual attacks. As long as you don't understand that the spiritual attacks is just as real as the physical ones, you will fight the physical attack, but you will never defend yourself from the spiritual attack. And as long as you're getting your ass whooped spiritually, you're going to continuously get your ass whooped physically. Because if it's a spiritual war that's being fought and you only fighting from the physical, you can't win. You can't win. Right? So, some of y'all might be unaware that a couple of weeks ago, they had a particle called the female God particle that hit the earth. And this particle, they don't know where it came from. It just hit the earth. Now, in order for it to be a particle, that means it's a piece of subatomic matter. That means it's so small that you need the telescope to see it. How did they know it was there? Because even something that small has an effect. The more powerful the particle in the microcosm, the bigger the effect in the macrocosm. So what we see in subatomically as a small little feminine particle of the universe smashing into Earth from nowhere, right before we align up with the solar flares and the solar storms and the solar winds that's telling the Earth a whole bunch of information, and before Earth aligns with the center of the galaxy, all of this stuff is successive codes coming in for the sisters. These sisters is getting these source codes now. Before that, they was getting what's called the Earth-Sun dialogue. This is the discussion between the widow and her son about how to clean up the dirt. And by what frequency do the women need to vibrate in order for Atlas to shrug and purge itself of the parasites, right? So at the core of the Earth, in the midst of the dialogue, it's like tuning the instrument. when it get properly tuned, where only the earthborn can align to the frequency, then the core of the earth is going to spout out a frequency, and it's going to kill anything that don't belong here. Anything that doesn't have a mitochondrial resonance to the soil of the earth is going to be eradicated. This is to get rid of beings that came from other places that's not tied to the earth, that's been dominating the earthborn. We couldn't remember because they kept us in a loop of Kali Yuga cycles of darkness by keeping us in the infinity loop, that it was so difficult to wake from the slumber that it took years and years of individuals to come through and record the information